what I did was, the work it took for me personally was I had to intensify my relationship with the Lord. I really had to humble myself. I really had to go before the Father and allow Him to begin to touch those areas that I wouldn't let Him touch before. And really humbling myself and go and allowing Him to speak to me and to cry it out, and to read scripture and all those things. And in my book there's a chapter in here called Sanctuary. And sanctuary is where that happens. Sanctuary is a place of transformation. It's a place where you lay yourself bare before the Father and allow Him to help you to move past these things. It doesn't all happen in a day or in a week or whatever. Sometimes what takes people a long time to write a project. I'm also a literary coach, and I was coaching a number of women this past semester on writing their books, and a number of them said that the thing that kept them from being able to move forward in writing parts of their books is to hear the parts that were painful. It was hard for them to write. And so, there's a process that you have to go through, and God takes you through it. It's different for everybody, right? Because we're all individuals, but it's different for everybody. But at some point you get to the place where you're healed enough to begin to write. I went through a very life-threatening illness about 11 years ago, and I almost died twice. And it took me a good 3 or 4 years before I could even write about that experience. So those are some of the things that's the main thing that I did. And also in terms of just putting in the work on the book, I mean, it really took just all kind of crazy sleeping habits, like, you get up in the middle of the night when, God gives you something and you up at 2 or 3 o'clock, trying to get it written down and all this kind of stuff. And you're just like a mad person, pulling it together. And then I had seasons where, I'm doing a little research and putting the chapters together. It takes, and I tell all my authors this, especially the ladies that were in my group, the time that it takes to actually craft your outline. And Cheryl, as a speaker, just like you have to learn how to craft that speech and craft that story, it's the same way you have to do when you're writing a book. So depending on your project, I mean, if you're doing a shorter project, it may not take as long, but if you're doing a longer project and you're doing something over 10 chapters, like I took pictures for my book, I went out and took pictures, because I didn't want to take the time to get permission from people, use other people's stuff. So I did my own. So, those kind of things can take time. So it really depends on the length of the project. But I mean,
so then based on that, what is your one takeaway for people out there who want to tell their story and want to write their book? Just one brief takeaway.
Write everything down that is on your heart to write. Just begin to write what is on your spirit to write.
Just start.
Just start.
Get started. Stop playing around. Play time.